Hey everybody, it's Timmy here, getting excited to start our live training on how to use our Couture inks. If you're just watching this as a replay, welcome. But if you're joining me live, it's great to have you here today. Again, this is Timmy and I am a chalk couture designer. And today we are going to be putting together an apron and a hand towel using our Grillin and Chillin transfers. So I'm going to move our, there we go. So you should be able to see things a little bit better here. So here is our Grillin and Chillin transfer. You can see this is actually a pretty good size transfer. I believe it's a C size transfer. That means that it retails for $24.99. And as you can see, it's got quite a few elements on it. We've got the grill here, and then of course a few words here that's hiding in the back behind that chalk couture is some flames that's going to come out of that grill, and then of course some words, and there's also some words down here for dads. So this is definitely something that you could use for a Father's Day gift or an upcoming birthday or something like that. So we'll just give folks a second here to join in. If you are here, definitely feel free to say hi. I am going to just check to make sure that indeed we are live. So I'm going to look at my other page here and make sure everything is good to go. And then we'll jump right in. While I'm looking at that here, let's see what's going on. While that's happening, oh, we're going to have Zoe visit us and say hello. So sorry about that. We gave her a little boost out the door. Hopefully she'll settle down here in just a bit. All right, great. I see that we are indeed live, so that's good. Sorry about the noise here. Hopefully she'll shush in a sec. So this is the tea towel that we're going to be using today to ink on. This I actually got as a 2-pack at Hobby Lobby, and I really liked this buffalo check, so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to chalk on. And it just happened to match an apron I had on hand that I wanted to also ink on. So we're going to start with the apron, and then we'll move on to our tea towel. Just before we jump in and get started, I just wanted to show you this, brand new. I just got it. This is called our ink mat. And I'm going to take off this protective cover here and just put it aside. And this protective cover basically protects this sticky surface. So this ink mat not only will make sure that you don't get ink on surfaces other than the ones you want them on, but it'll also help to adhere whatever it is you're inking so that things won't move around. So that's really awesome. And I just stuck my transfer here on the side into my paper, so we'll get that, move that out of the way. My pan of water, I meant. All right, so as I said, I think we're going to start with our apron. So I'm just going to open this up, and we're going to get it settled down here onto our ink mat. And I want to ink right in the top part here. So let's move this down so that you can see that. And I have a little better working surface. So as you can see, as I place it down on the mat, I can kind of just give it a spread out here and make sure that there's no wrinkles, so that when I put on our paste, or our inks, I'm sorry, we're working with inks today, then we'll have a nice flat, even surface to work on. So there we go. That is nicely adhered. So you can see if I lift this up here, it's stuck on. So that is great. And I have a bunch of ink colors here. Not exactly sure which ones we're going to be using where. I've had some ideas, but I haven't totally made up my mind. So if you are here and joining me live and you want to offer some suggestions or comments, please feel free. Definitely use the comment box here to say hello and to let me know that you're here. It's always good to know who's joining us. And certainly if you have any questions along the way, feel free to jump right in and ask them. Be happy to... Sorry, I'm listening to myself here. You don't want to be listening. I don't want to be listening to myself. But you could definitely use the share button and sorry, let's get that out of the way there because it's causing chaos. Great. All right, I think that's better. I do see that we definitely are live. Can you see me? Yeah, okay, good. We are still live. That's good. And I should be able to see this on my feed as well. So I'll know that if I see some questions, I'll be able to check in and answer them. So we'll give that another minute here to see if I can get notified. All right, I think we're good. All right, so as I said, a couple of different colors of ink here. I have our white Couture ink with me today. I have our red, and on our red surface might not work really well, but maybe it'll work with our tea towel, so we'll have to decide about that. I have some black. This is our black velvet. I have some yellow, which I think will be a really nice complement maybe for those flames. And I have some silver, which I'm thinking might be really fun for some of the utensils or part of the bottom. So that is something that we might be able to see. And lastly, I have this copper ink, and I'm thinking the copper might be nice to use for our hot dogs if we decide we're going to put those on. So those are the inks that I have with me, the colors that I'm going to choose from and work with today. I'm going to put them aside here and we'll open them up as we need them. Now, just a couple notes about the ink. If you were with me last week and you heard a little bit about our chalk, you heard that the chalk is semi-permanent, so it goes on wet and dries hard. In the case of the ink, it also goes on wet, and once it dries, air dries, you can actually heat seal it by using a iron. So all you need is a piece of parchment paper and an iron. If you have a heat press, that's even better. I don't have one of those, but if you just use a simple household iron, just turn off the steam portion. And what you're going to do is you're going to put a piece of parchment paper between your inked surface and your iron, and you're going to just press that for 4 minutes on each side. So that's all you need. So as you can see, this is a brand new transfer. I have not yet opened it. One thing to note about our transfers is that you can absolutely use these transfers with the ink or the paste, or both. You can definitely interchange. How you would treat your ink surface is exactly the same as you would if you were using a chalk. So you just want to, after you're finished with it, you want to put your transfer in some water or rinse it off and let it air dry, and then just give it a quick wipe with a disinfecting wipe, like a Clorox wipe or something like that. And then you can put it right back on the backing of the transfer. So when we were together last time, I told you I cheated about how I stored my transfers, and we actually didn't open a transfer first. And it was already cut up when we used it. So we're going to take the time right now and cut this transfer so that it is ready to use. And we're going to have to figure out which ones we're using here. And I do know that I absolutely want to start with the grill, because I think we want to do the grill master here. So just cut along, as you can see, the lines here. And you don't have to be totally perfect. Now, I do have to confess that I'm generally a bit of a planner, which means that usually I have the exact idea of how it is I'm going to do something before I go live, or certainly before I try it in front of people. I have usually already given it a try. It's not the case tonight, so if there's a few mistakes, you'll know why, because I didn't plan. But I actually did that on purpose because I wanted to show you really that, you know, you can really do this pretty simply without needing a lot of extra talent or skill. The silkscreen transfers are really easy to work with, and you'll see that the inks, when I open them up, are also really, really nice to work with. They have a very nice smooth consistency. They go on very easily, and you'll see the result is just gorgeous. So I definitely want to use the Grill Master. I'm not sure about this hot dog yet, but since we're here, I'll go ahead and give it a cut. Now, one thing that I did learn in some fellow designers' conversations, which is great. Get a lot of support from one another as we are trying out new transfers and new designs. One of the nice perks of being part of a new company that's really excited to help one another. But anyway, they talked about one of the nice keys to using inks on fabrics is to not fuzz your transfers. So if you were with us last week, you heard me talking about fuzzing. Fuzzing is really what you do when you first take your transfer off the backing. It's really, really super sticky, and usually what you want to do if you're going to be putting it on a wood or chalkboard surface or something like that, or glass certainly, is fuzz it so that it doesn't really get sticky and so stuck that it's hard to get it off once you've chalked it. Now with ink, it's a little bit different. You actually want to do a little bit of the opposite, and that is that you don't want to fuzz these transfers before you put them on the fabric. The fabric's already going to do enough for the fuzz, and by not fuzzing them, you are going to make sure that you get a nice, good adhesion to your surface, and that means that you won't get ink running behind your surface. So we definitely don't want that to happen. So let's start with our grill here. It's so cute. And I don't think I have anybody joining me yet, but if you are here, certainly jump in and say hello. And as I said, we're going to peel this right off the transfer now that I've cut them into pieces. If you are at home and you do have a transfer and you're wondering how best to store them, you want to keep this white backer. It's really important because this is going to be what you can put this back on once you're done. To make life a little bit easier for yourself, if you're not storing these in some other way, in some kind of book, for instance, you can take a pen or a Sharpie and mark the back with a mark, just so you know that this is the back side. If you don't do that, not a worry. Just remember that it's the sticky or glossy side. It's not really sticky, it's really the glossy side is what you want to stick your transfer back onto. So if it's easier for you, just write it on the back. If not, just remember glossy side. All right, so we've got our grill here, and I'm going to put it probably right here in the middle. Now let's see, I'm lining up here a little bit with my pocket. I want to make sure this is on straight. So as you might have remembered, if you've heard before, have seen me do one of these lives, this all of our silkscreen transfers do have also an adhesive back. So that makes it really easy to work with. And you can stick it down and reposition it however you'd like. So notice that I'm just taking some time to make sure that I have pressed this really well into the area where I have put it down, and that's just again so that the ink does not come underneath the transfer. So I think we're going to make our grill black. That seems like a good place to start. Now, just a little word of caution. The ink is a little bit different than our chalk in that if you get ink in places you don't want it, it's going to stay there. It's not going to be able to wash off like our, here I'm going to show you this, how smooth and shiny and delightful the ink is. Really easy to work with. But again, just make sure that you're only putting it in places where you want it, because it will be really hard to get off. Even though it's not permanent till you'll heat set it, you really don't want to put it in extra spots and have it be in the way. So I'm going to do the whole thing, I think, here black. So I'm just going to put some dabs in a couple of strategic places here, and then put this off to the side and try not to get it on me. So far, look, Mom, no hands. And I'm going to take one of our squeegees, and we're just going to pull the ink across the negative space of our transfer. Make sure that we're getting good coverage. Looks like I'm going to need a little bit more ink. You want to start off a little bit light. Don't put too much on to start with. Spread it out first and then come back and see if you need more. I do, so actually I'm just going to dip my squeegee right into the ink container. I can get a little bit better control that way. And hopefully that means I won't drip it or get it in places where it doesn't belong. That's great. All right. So if you are watching this, even if you're not with us live, but you're watching this on replay, I'd love to hear from you about your grilling activities at home. I'd love to hear from you and get some comments about who it is at your house that does the most grilling, and what your favorite thing is to grill. So be sure to shoot me a comment here and let me know some of that info. All right, there you go, voila. So I'm going to take the transfer here. I've got a little water bath sitting over here in my workspace. So I'm just going to put that aside. And as you can see, we've got our grill here already done. So some of the things that we want to be able to do with this grill will include some layering. So we want this layer here to dry before it is that we add other items to this. So we could kind of get ready and get set to figure out what's going where. Could put that here, I think. And we also have some fire. So that's what these little guys are here. And then we've got the words Grill Master, which I think would be really nice to put here once this dries a little bit. So, and then of course we've got our flames where they are shooting out that we can put in over here. I think those would make some really good options. Question is, what do you think? Do we need this Grillin and Chillin, or should we save the Grillin and Chillin for our Chillin and Grillin? That might be kind of fun here. What do you think? Hard to know. And then of course we've got these great spork and spatula options, which could be really cute right here at the bottom. So many choices, it's hard to decide. So I am going to give this a second here to dry. I'm going to put these extra ones over here to the side. And I'm going to actually hurry this along a little bit by using a blow dryer. So don't mind the noise here. All right, it's pretty dry. I'm just going to give it another touch up here. All right. That feels pretty good. Excellent. I think we're ready to add, I think the Grill Master. I think we're going to do that next. So let's add Master here to the bottom. And again, just make sure you rub it in really good. And this time I think I'm going to use my white. My comments here seem to have disappeared. So if you are here and I can't see your comments now, I promise I will answer them after we finish with the live. So if you have any questions or feedback or comments about the things that you'd like to grill at your house, I'd love to hear them. I'm going to put that off to the side. Grab another squeegee just to make my life easier so I don't have to keep washing my squeegees in between each different color. I'm just going to give this a good once over. Make sure everything's covered. That looks pretty good. And then again, we're just going to pull that right up. There you go. We see our master. Maybe I'll try to pull this down a little bit closer here for you so you can see that better maybe. It's a little bit better. And then we're going to grab our word grill. And that's going to go on top, but because it's going to overlay that, we're going to give it a minute. I think we'll work on our flame next. So our flame, it's one of the problems of not having any nails to play around with a little bit. Our flame is going to come right out this way, I think. So now I wish I had some of my comments here working because I could definitely use your help in thinking about my flame color. We could do some silver or we could use some yellow. Yellow seems a little harsh, so let's go with silver. This is our shimmery silver ink, so it's got a little bit of a shimmer in it. Same thing, we'll just give it a little bit of a stir. And put a little bit down. Again, don't need too much. And just as always, we squeegee off any of the extra that we don't need. Got a couple different squeegees going on over here. I am a silver girl. As you can see, my silver bracelets, I like them. So just make sure in this case you really don't go outside of your transfer, the green area there. We're going to get chalk in places we'll get ink in places we do not want. I'm so used to talking about chalk. Now, if you start to lift this up and you feel like you've missed an area or you need a little bit more ink, we can just lay this transfer back down before we lifted it off totally and do that. So we'll take a peek here and see how things are going. All right, so as I said, sometimes you just look at it and you think, it could use a little bit more depth. So you can add a little bit more in and give this just a little bit more coloring. Our red here is pretty bright, so we want to give that a little bit of an extra coat. Now these inks can really be used on any fabric surface, or they could also, I need a little cheater here, they can also go on ceramic. So if you want to make coffee mugs or you have a drink cooler and you want to ink that, you can. So instead of instead of using an iron to heat set it, you could just use your oven. So we're going to give this just another little blast with the, so watch the noise here for a minute. That should do it. And then we'll go back to our white here with our grill and put our grill right here on the top part of our grill. All right. So I like to stand here, so I'm just going to give this a little stand to make sure that I got this all in where I want it. And again, just make sure it's pretty well set down. And we're on for white. Oops, I had some white in my cover here I was going to try to use, but let's go back into my jar here. So a little bit lighter handed with the ink. Wipe up the excess. Put it back in your jar, and when you pull up your transfer, just make sure you stick it in some water until you're ready to get to the sink and clean it for good. Here we go. We have our grill master. Now that could have come down a little bit, but I think it'll be all right. And I'm just gonna give our transfers here a little bit of a rinse while they're sitting in my water. Give them a little shake. All right. And I think we're going to let this dry just a little bit, and then we're going to come back with our yellow and do our flames. But I think we want to put these cute little guys on here. So this little guy, I'm going to do the fork. And we'll put the hot dog on the fork. What do you think? Think that'll work? I don't know if I want that there. What do you think, people? Oh, I so need your help. I had a friend over last night doing some chalking with me, and it was so nice to have somebody here to bounce ideas off of. If that seems like that would be something that you'd like to do or would be interesting, let me know. I'll be happy to set up a time where we could do some chalking together in person. I don't know. I still don't know that it belongs there. And maybe what I should do is just put them right here and crisscross them. And don't worry about that silly hot dog. What do you think? All right. I'm going to say that was a yes. So I think the bottom portion here we'll make black. And I knew it was bound to happen, but I got a little ink on my hand. And I don't want to make a mistake and stick it onto my surface. I will cloth there to wipe it up. So the smaller squeegees give me a little more control here. Added that black. And then the top part I'm going to make silver. Because I do love a little bit of that sparkle. Now, one thing to note is if you do have a color, or if you're looking to have a color that you don't yet have an ink for, you can mix and match the colors. There we go. That looks great. Awesome. I like that. That looked good there. And I think that yellow for those flames are really going to make this pop. So that is good. We're going to give that a second to dry. Get our spatula and we'll lay it across crisscross like that. So we'll give that some time to think about drying before we go in and we add that. So while we're waiting, we can do our flames. So let's see if I can find where I put them. I thought I had them right here, but I must have hidden them as I was moving around. Oh, I did. I put them right next to my Clorox. Okay, here we go. All right, we've got 2 layers of flames here. So this one we're going to put right here, line it up right with that bottom part of our grill master. And this could be a super hot fire. We could have a little bit of red, or we can even mix a little red and yellow and make orange, make that fire really pop. So we'll have to decide what we want to do with here in a minute. Just a little guy, doesn't need a lot. There we go, there's our flames. That's cute, like that. Awesome. And then this is going to be the second part of that flame we're going to add. And the last thing we'll do on this is add in our spatula. Give this a little touch, see how it's doing. We got that a little bit still tacky. So you know what, I'm going to give it a minute. I'm not going to rush it because we do want to do our Grillin and Chillin. So that's going to be quick and easy on this. So let's pull this up for the moment. Let me move this paste out of the way before I get myself into trouble. I'm going to pull it right off our sticky board. I don't think it stay there. And you can see some leftover residue on our, very cute that looks, residue on our board. That's fine, don't worry about that. We can actually give it a little bit of a wipe. And then we'll be ready to use it again here for our tea towel. This is a really nice, heavy tea towel. So it's going to be great for this surface, for the ink. And one of the things I really like about this ink mat is that I don't have to iron it before the ink on it. I can just use the adhesive to make it spread all out. And I'm going to do this backwards here for us today so that we can really, you can see it better, and we can put it on the area where we want it to go. So I think we have our Grillin and Chillin. And I think black is going to make the most sense here. So I'm going to lay these down where we want them. And then ink right over this tea towel using the black. Now what's great is that we have these lines already from the buffalo check. So it'll make it pretty easy to get these on. And I'm okay with them having a little bit of space there, so I'm going to not lay them right on top of each other. I'm going to lay them right at the edges. Here we go. There is our, oh, did you see what I did? We got the chillin' and grillin'. Maybe we are chillin' and grillin', but I think we want to be grillin' and chillin'. So I just need to swap these positions. Now that I got them nice and stuck here, I need my little, the girl with no nails needs to pull this up and change these around. No worries. Here we go. Now we're grilling and chilling. And you know what? If we hadn't caught it, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. I think that's good. I'm going to move this up just a tad so its spacing is pretty close to the other. And again, good rub. Just make sure there are no air bubbles. Make a good adhesion so we can The other nice thing about working with inks is, although they're a little less forgiving, they don't dry as fast as our chalks. So you have a little bit more time to work. So again, that's nice light layers. And put the excess back in the jar. And if you're like me, keep the jar off of your fabric that you're working on, because with my luck I'll get it on it and I don't want to do that. Now we have some wicked chicken transfers. This would be really cute with those too. I have a little rooster that might make a really fun addition to this, but it will give you the idea of how it works, and again, really just how simple they are to use. Just checking my hands here. Got a little spot there. All right, I look pretty good. All right, so this one's coming up first. There's our Grillin. Cute, cute. Nice and clean. And then I'm going to take the chillin off because I have my and here a little bit tucked under. There is our chillin. Beautiful. And our and. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to lay these in here. Give them a little bit of a stir. And there we go. Again, we need to let this air dry, and then what we're going to do is we are going to take an iron to it to heat set it. Reminder that we just need to heat set it 4 minutes on each side using a bit of parchment paper. So I'm going to bring this over here and get it out of the way. I'm going to come back to our apron here and finish it up. And you can see that as we're coming back here, it's starting to dry even a little bit more. And we're getting to see that nice shimmer of the silver. It looks really great. And get my inks out of the way here. Lay this back down so it's nice and flat. I'm not going to rub it too much of where I've inked yet, just in case things are not quite dry. I won't rub them all over. Give that a little touch tack. Looks great. And got 2 little last pieces we're going to do. This spatula that we'll do on a crisscross. And just like we did with the fork, we'll make our bottom black. And the top silver. So we'll give that a little bit of coverage. That's enough of that black. And then my silver, just gonna dip it into my paste, my ink. Someday I'll get those straight. And Nice little bling there. I love bling. We have a beautiful copper ink and gold ink as well. And they work great on pillows, t-shirts. There we go. We got pretty good coverage there. It looks like I missed a little piece of that black spot there. I see a little red poking through. So here we go. Let's fill that in. And voila, lift the transfer. And there is our spatula. Hope you can see that. We're going to lift that up for you so you can see it a little bit better. My light here is a little, let's turn on a little bit more light here. That should be a little better. We had a little glare before, but that should be better now. All right, and what do you think? A little white to go on the top of that flame in the grill. Might be just the added touch we want to give it a little bit more depth. Now, the key is, can I see it? I can, look at that. So you're gonna be able to, we're gonna lie it right over there. And my white's back here. Been moving things around on my and voila. It is done. So that's it, folks. That is all we needed to do to get this done. So as you see, it didn't take us too long, a little bit longer because I was doing a little drying in between, and we had two projects going here. But even so, really within a half hour, we were able to create a beautiful apron that we'd be happy to give as a gift or wear in our barbecues coming up. All your friends will want to know where you got it. You can tell them you made it yourself, which is awesome. Like I said, just give this a little chance to air dry and then make sure that you heat set it. I just want to clean up my workspace here just a tad so that I can pull this off and you can see it and I won't get ink on it by mistake with one of my open jars. I still have a few open, but not in the way now, I think. So here we go. Let me just take this off and show you how it looks. There you go. There is our Grill Master. And over here, fold up our tea towel. And we'll add that. There you go. We are done. That was it. Well, I hope that you found this to be as easy as I promised it would be. If you are interested in learning more about how you can purchase some of these supplies and make your own inked creations, please feel free to reach out to me. If you you think that you have some friends who might enjoy watching this, please feel free to go ahead and use that share button and share it with others. I'd appreciate that a whole lot to help get the word out if you think it would be something they would enjoy doing or learning about. And next time we'll be together. It will be the night before I leave for the Couture first ever convention in Salt Lake City. So I hope to come back with lots of news about new transfers that are coming out, as well as some great promotions. So I hope you'll join me again next week on Wednesday. And while I'm at convention, maybe I'll even pop in for a live here or there and tell you some sneak previews of things that are coming up. So again, thanks everybody so much. It was a pleasure having you. You have a great night. Bye.